Buenos dias! Episode 24. Wouldn't be a show about Cubans if we didn't have fucking technical difficulties as they do in Cuba. I'm your drunk co-host, Big Tuna. And with me, as always, is Catfish, who's not in a good mood.
No, not in a good mood.
Talk about Google and your frustration.
I want to Ray Rice Google.
You want to Ray Rice Google? Oh, man.
That's what I want to do, dude. Seriously, I'm trying not to get too upset right now because I don't want to ruin my vibe, but I want to Ray Rice Google.
Hey, man, if you got to carve your own path, you got to carve your own path.
I'm so pissed off.
That's what I always say.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's so effing stupid, dude.
Yeah, well,
so stupid that it should take 30 minutes to log on to a Google Hangout. That if you do, you have to like magically get in and do it some stupid ass way for it to work. It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, but oh well. I mean, we're here, we're rocking and rolling. What are you smoking, man? Let's think positive waves.
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying. Normally we have like all this crap set up in the middle before the show, like 30 minutes before the show. I have all the pages open with the chats and everything that I need, and I can't do that when I have to restart my computer 3 times and massage the link a certain way just so that it works. It's just effing stupid, so I'm just trying to do that right now. But on a positive note, I'm not even looking at the camera, so let's see here.
That works, man.
If you guys can see, I am smoking a Quai d'Orsay Imperialis.
the cigar that's no more.
I know, it's no more, and I only have a few of them left, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to smoke one of these guys tonight, because I always got to have a big smoke whenever I'm on here, because I smoke like 3 times faster than normal. I don't know why. When I'm on the show, I can like just mow down anything.
You know, what's funny is that when my recent order, my retailer, he gave me a couple of the Quai d'Orsay Coronas, Corona Claros.
How did you have one yet, or what?
Fuck no, I haven't gotten to that shit.
Oh,
I'm going to, out of respect for you, I'm going to. I think he's sitting in there because he knows I bashed Quai d'Orsay. Quai d'Orsay. But I also got the other Veinticuatro size, the one that we haven't smoked yet.
Oh, the Corona Gorda.
Yeah. Nice little size.
Interesting. This should be interesting. Or it's not a Corona Gorda, but it's a 46 ring gauge.
Yeah, it's smaller.
It should be interesting because I like 46 ring gauge in almost everything that is out there. So I'd be interested to try because I like the small one better than the big one. So
I love that.
Better than the Petit Edmundo. I didn't like the Petit Edmundo.
I loved it.
So we'll see. But yeah, the Coronas Claros are that's a legendary cigar. That's amazing.
It's
unbelievable.
Yeah, I'd
be amazed if you hated it.
I'll probably enjoy it, given me. You never know what the hell the tuna's going to do. But it's funny though because we got that, and your stuff's going to you in the mail, so I can get your opinions on things.
Yeah, we were going to, just so everybody knows, this Google thing has been just totally destroying our ability to do anything lately, and between my school schedule and Seth's work schedule, we've been all over the place, and so we were planning on talking about LCDH releases tonight, but we decided to change our mind at the last second.
We
lied to you all. We lied to you because that's.
But it's okay because we're prepped to talk about 2014 Limitadas.
Mm-hmm.
And next week, Catfish this week should get all of his LCDHs. He should get get some of your Limitadas, or your regionals, your Eniados.
Yeah, because we got the rest. We still got to do an Anahado show, and then we're gonna do the Ramon versus Ramon show, which is gonna be awesome.
One
We're gonna
Embargo
put,
Thunderdome.
yeah, what about a Thunderdome? We're gonna put España, Spain versus what the hell is the other one from? What's Países
Netherlands.
Bajos? What is that?
Países Bajos.
Netherlands. Oh, Spain versus the Netherlands. We're gonna have a.
I'll tell you one thing though.
Throwdown.
The amount of messages I've received about how awesome that is was really positive. So to all you guys who gave me positive messages, go fuck yourself, because it was wonderful. It was the wonderful. But we're gonna have fun with it because you're gonna have them both. I have them both, and we're gonna duke it out. Yep. So, but let's talk about the 2014 Limitadas. We talked about Cohiba.
Yes, we have you revisited the Cohiba since you first had it?
Yes, I have. I've revisited them all, and I'm smoking the Boulevard right now, which is still incredibly disappointing.
What did you think of the Cohiba when you revisited it?
I still really liked it. You know, this is very random, but I'm really falling in love with that Partagas Limitada.
Why?
That Magnum 50, the flavors, it's smoking good for young. It's smoking good.
Well, bear with me because I didn't have a chance to read your review on it because my brain was so fried. It's still fried. I didn't wake up to 3 alarms today, dude.
That's terrible.
I have 3 alarms set right now because my brain is so fried, and I didn't even wake up to all 3. It was ridiculous, but I made it a point to smoke the Bolivar and the Partagas. Smoked the Partagas, I want to say, on last Friday night.
Okay.
And the size was great. I definitely don't have an issue with the size. I thought it was a fantastic cigar. Did you get floral notes out of it at all?
Yeah, I think in the first one I did. You know, just even sitting in the humidor really, really relaxing for a little while. The second one just really showed some awesome youth flavors. First,
I didn't get any youth out of it. I mean, I smoked it down to the nub, but it seemed like mine was. It seemed like it was a little wet, or
strong. It was strong.
It went out on me a few times, so maybe it was the Lajero talking, you know. Let me see what.
That's what I found with the Boulevard and the Partagas, is that they're a little bit more wet. The Cohiba, every time I've smoked the Cohiba, it has been perfect. It has been great. Now, with that being said, I think it'll get better, but at the same time, it's just, you know, you kind of made the comment, which is correct. You know, it's really not your typical Cohiba, so it's kind of one of those weird Cohibas. But it's good stick.
Well, I'm reading your Partagas thing real quick. I just pulled it up, but you had herbal qualities in the finish.
There you go.
Sea salt in the first third, and I think that, I mean, when I was smoking it, honestly, I was cramming, so I wasn't, you know, paying attention to flavor notes or anything. But I really remember these very, very unique. I remember it as being floral, but I wasn't paying attention or really noting what I was tasting so much as I was just enjoying it. But I remember it had this really interesting flavor that was not Partagas at all. It had Partagas flavors, but
it wasn't your regular production Partagas. It wasn't.
Which is weird because the Bolivar wasn't. It didn't taste anything like a Bolivar to me. So it's like these 3 Limitadas don't taste anything like their Marcas at all. And I found that really interesting because I went ahead and had a Monty 2010 the other night, and while the 2010, the Grande Mundo, is kind of a departure from Monty, it still has a lot of Monty qualities to it. It's real big on that charred oak kind of flavor.
I find that all the Monty Limitadas are always smoking in a way which still show that Monty flavor profile. I agree.
Yeah. And I had the Hoyo 07 Regalos the other night.
Yeah.
Like a week or so ago, because I knew we were coming up to this show, and so I wanted to revisit as many Limitadas as possible before then. And that thing was like, dude, for 2007, it was still strong as balls.
Yeah.
Still had tons of legs. It probably sucked for the first 3 or 4 years it came out. That's probably why they're still around.
There's a lot of people who still have them.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that cigar sucked. It would be my guess, honestly, that it was just terrible. Because now, I mean, we're looking at 7, 8 years later, and it was still like ridiculously strong. It was a little bit more refined than the last time I'd had one, but it laid me out, dude. It gave me a Nick buzz. I was impressed with how much power it had, to be quite honest.
It's kind of my problem with the Limitada program, the regional program, is that I think sometimes these releases lose that quality which that brand is known for.
Well, to a degree, they have to go away from it because they are doing an edition limitada, so it does have to taste different. It does have to taste unique. But yeah, I mean, there's some that I don't think do that.
But it can be unique in a way which sticks to the brand, and that's what I understand that tobacco is further age, and it's typically you're using
like the C3. Like, have you had the C3?
Partagas, yeah.
And then the Upman 2009, the original Magnum 50. Those all to me represent the brands with like a twist. Same with the Monties. You know what I mean? They represent the marca. They're just different.
Yeah, but this Cohiba is a classic example. I even think the Partagas is too. That Partagas is really not that Partagas flavor profile that I think. Mm-hmm. It's a really good cigar. I love the Magnum 50. I think it's a great offering. I'd love to see more Magnum 50s. I mean, that would be dope. I mean, I could see Habanos breaking their regional edition restrictions and making, like, let's say hypothetical, embargo ended, United States, Cohiba, Edicion Regional, Magnum 50, fucking USA. I could see it. Sell that shit for $50. Dude, I called the 2014 Limitada 60 ring.
You did. Well, it was the 58.
Whatever.
So the 60 is going to be Monte Cristo.
Dude, it's going to be a Jose Piedro. I'm calling it.
It's going to be the 60 is going to be Monte Cristo because the next one that they do that large is going to have to be that's the only other brand with just superior worldwide domination as far as the brand is concerned. Yeah. And I mean, you look at Romeo at 55. Romeo is another worldwide, so it would either have to be Partagas or Monte Cristo. And when you look at Altadis, and their licensing, they have the Monte brand. So if the embargo drops, that 60 ring gauge Monte would be the one that I think they would be able to put in the American market first without any issues. You know what I mean? Without any trademark issues.
Habano should hire Jay-Z to smoke one of their Cohibas and do that as advertising. I would love it.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
It would be priceless. So, but yeah, so they're all really unique, and they're all very different.
Personally, I'm going to disagree with you on the Boulevard. I think the Boulevard is the best out of all three of them.
No shit, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I think it has the most potential, and for the money is the best value. I would say that the Boulevard was very close in comparison to the Cohiba in terms of the types of flavors that were being delivered. And
close to the Cohiba.
Yeah. And the Partagas, to me, I mean, given the price point, I mean, it's kind of weird. The price point on these it's been up and down, and nothing's really settled yet. But it seems like the Cohibas are probably going to be in the, I'm just going to say $40 because, you know, they range anywhere from 35 to 45 on up to 55. But I would say it's somewhere between 350 and 450, so probably $400, so $40 stick.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The Partagas seem to be in the $250 on the grays, a little bit less some other places. So, you know, the low 20s, and the Bullies recently have been popping up for like, when they first came out, it seemed like they were 350 to 375, and I want to say somebody just hit me with one that said they were 300.
Because their boxes are 20.
It's a box of 25, so 300 for a box of 25 is ridiculous, dude.
Oh yeah, no,
That's
I
a
mean,
$12 stick, and at $12, yeah, I would say that has the best potential. All of them.
it's tough. The problem I have with
I'm surprised
Limitadas.
you didn't like the Boulevard because when I smoked the Boulevard, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really smooth, medium, balanced, had decent flavors. It didn't like blow me away or anything, but I don't see any reason why if I put that down for a couple years, it would really open up a lot of delicate flavors. Whereas the Partagas, I think it would do the same thing as well. I just don't think it didn't blow me away like and say this is a $25 limited edition cigar. You know what I
I
mean?
thought, I thought it was great. I loved it. Very
It's
different.
good, and I'll keep a few of them. Don't get me
Oh, it's a
wrong,
beautiful cigar.
but I couldn't see myself, going deep on them. But the Bolivars, if they improve in the next 6 months or so, I wouldn't mind having a box of those down to just sit and rest because I think they'll end up kind of being like the Ramon Alones release from 2011, where nobody's really into them at first, and then the word starts getting out, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and everybody's looking for them.
Yeah, it'll be a couple of years before. I think they'll be around for a little bit. I really do.
They will. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they're going to go away. I don't think any of these edition Limitadas are going to go away. Honestly, go away fast. The Cohiba is, judging by the way it's sold, my guess is they're going to be producing the hell out of those things, dude.
Oh, I bet
They're
they
all
will.
over. They're all
Yeah, I
over.
mean, there's.
Now.
I know there's retailers still getting them. I mean, retailers are still getting them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's. Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm not surprised. It's a Cohiba. It's going to do well. It's going to make money. That's what it does. Um,
But the response overall, it seems, with the Bolivar and the Partagas have been pretty good. I mean, I haven't heard too much negativity out of either one. I mean, there's some people that like one and some people like the other, but like last year, there was the Romeo and the what's the other one? No, it was the Romeo, the Punch, and the Hoyo.
yeah.
And like, I just reviewed the Hoyo, and it was okay, but it had no balance to it. It was real powerful, and I could see if somebody doesn't retrohale why they would like that cigar. But for me, it was too much in the nose and not enough balance with the draw. And then the Romeo is the one that everybody seems to be freaking out about the most. That's the one that everybody speaks really highly of, and it's about the same size as the Magnum 50.
Yeah.
I want to say it's probably a little bit bigger, maybe just a tad longer and a tad, maybe like a 52 ring gauge. I'll look it up in a second. But the
deluxe.
yeah, the Punch was a Campagna, so it was basically a pyramid, a 5.5 by 52, so same size as like a Bellicoso Fino, and they came in 25 count boxes. That was the first, to my knowledge, limited edition brand that they did for Punch. But I didn't hear much about it though.
Yeah, I know that Punch was for a long time bigger with regionals than it was. Bolivar. This is just the second Bolivar, and they really don't dip into a lot of the other smaller brands for these limited editions. I think they gave Punch a go, see how it would do. But that's a brand on a side note that just struggles. And I always think of it as the middle child, just because it's a really good brand. They've really got they've really got a lot of great offerings in it.
Punch?
Oh yeah. The problem is that they have a great double Corona, but it's shadowed by Partagas, Ramon Iones, Oya. They got a great Corona Gorda with a Punch, and that's shadowed by a lot of other great Corona Gordas. So it's like there's nowhere for it to go. It's just kind of just stuck there.
Well, I love Punch, and I love their coronations and their petite coronations. I think those are both bomb. So, but the what's it called? Their The Series de Oro is, I mean, that's a what? That's a $17 cigar, I think.
Yeah.
So, you know, for a Bellicoso at $17, that's kind of rough.
That's pushing it.
That's definitely kind of rough. At least at the Bolivar, the size of the Bolivar to me was great.
It's a really good size because it's got a good length, but the ring gauge really works with it. So you feel like you're getting. I mean, it looks small in compared to the other two, but overall, it's not a small cigar.
No, I mean well, let me see what the size is. Let me look it up real quick. They call it the Super Corona, but
6.5 by 48 or something like that.
6.5 by 48. Really that long? 5.5 by 48. Yeah.
I was alright.
Grand Corona. 5.5 by 48, which is personally, I absolutely love the size, and I would be so down with more sizes like that. I mean, it's kind of right in between that. It's under 50 ring gauge. It's a little bit bigger, you know what I mean? It's not too expensive. So to me, like, and I guess maybe I'm just speaking from poor man's budget standpoint, but for me, it's a limitada that is within reach, you know what I mean? I can pay 15, 16, 17 bucks for it and feel like I'm getting a decent sized cigar out of it and not like a little small guy.
Now, would you pick it up over regular production Bolivars? Because that's what I always look at. That's what's kind of a bigger deal to me is regional edition over regular production because that's where it struggles.
Well, I think that's where the regional or the limitada struggles. Period. And most edition limitadas, I think, just don't do it for me, dude. Honestly, they don't.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see like I mean, I was smoking a freaking, and this is crazy to compare the two, but on my way home from LA on Saturday morning, I have a few left of these 2006 Upman Majestics, right? Just cheap little petite Lancero looking thing, 5.5 by 40. I can't remember. I think it's called a Marevis. Is the
it's like
size?
A 42. They used to be machines.
5.5 by 40, and yeah, just smoking that on the way home, it was just so flavorful and complex and just wonderful and delicious. I was like, God, this is a $4 cigar aged obviously for 9 years, but you know, when I got it there, maybe 5 years old or so. But this is a well-aged cigar, and it just was fantastic. So to me, it was like, why am I spending my money on? Why would I buy an edition limitada? Like the Cohiba, the Bolivar, and the Partagas, to me, they don't represent their brands. So that makes them unique in their own right. They're definitely unique cigars. And honestly, the Cohiba was very, very, very good. So I wouldn't mind smoking one every once in a while, you know. But the Partagas didn't really blow me away like, I'd rather have 2 Lusitanias than that, you know. Yeah,
and that's where I go, and I think that's where I think a lot of people go. It's just, you know, for the Bolivar, you know, I'd rather smoke a Royal Coronas.
I wouldn't. Royal Corona sucks.
You also like fucking Bellicoso Finos, man. You love BBF stuff.
BBFs are the bomb. BBFs are the bomb. But the Royal, to me, the Bolivar didn't taste like anything Bolivar. So if you take the label off of it, and you're not thinking, okay, this is a Bolivar, and expecting it to taste like a Bolivar, it's a great smoke, I thought. Considering the price point, what it delivered flavor-wise, finish, I thought it was, out of all 3 of them, the best one that I've had. It's the best edition limitada that I've had in the last few weeks, and I've smoked several of them.
It's interesting.
I don't necessarily think it was the best now. But I think it's going to be the best. I think it's going to be really good in a few years. Yeah, kind of like the Ramon Alone's Corona Extra or whatever one it was, the 2011 Ramon Alone's.
The Ionis.
Was that a Corona Extra? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was like a Corona. Yeah. Ionis Extra. No, it wasn't the Ionis.
It was 5.5 by 44. I want to say the sizes. I can't remember what the name of it was.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, but I went through a couple of
boxes. I mean, you're right though. That was not an offering that was big at the time. 2011. It was not the release that really got the attention. Because if I'm correct, that was with The hold on, I'll look.
It was the Alonis Extra, excuse me. That's
Yeah,
what
it was the Cohiba 1966, which was a complete disappointment in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I don't know. I'm going with the Partagas. I love the Magnum 50. I love them for doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, a regular Mag, like I've got some Mag 50s, dude, from
H up
2008.
Mag 50. Yeah, I got some.
I've been Mag 50s from 2008 that were just as good as that.
Oh,
And that's my beef.
yeah. True. I'll give you that. The H up, yeah, I have some H up Magnum 50s that are better than that. Well, it comes down to, you know, I can't remember who I was talking to this about the Cohiba Robustos Extra. You know, when I get that or when I pick up Stigo 6, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Stigo 6, any day of the week. Price is a little bit better and it's a better cigar. Really shows that Cohiba play.
Yeah. I was very, for the amount of money that you have to spend on these damn things.
On the Limitada, that's I mean, it's a Limitada though, and that's my kind of problem though with making a Limitada get more than 10 count boxes. I know why they do it. I just don't like it.
I'll agree with that. I mean, I would say if anything, I'm more interested to see what they are, what they come out when they do the Maduro #1, for Partagas.
Yeah.
And I know that's a Habano specialist release or whatever. So I don't know if that'll go to LCDHs or not, but that was the one I think that.
It's any store that's basically that we're going to really work hard to be really good at Habanos retailers, and Habano says, okay, this is what we'll give you.
Yeah.
And then it'll go to the gray market as well. Anyway. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's the Limitada program. I think you and I will agree is just we spend a lot of time. I think everyone focuses a lot on them, but at the end of the day, I'd go with regular production over it.
I mean, it depends. I mean, looking back at it, I'm just looking back at it, and you know, like I've had a Partagas D3, and it was good. It was really good, but it was also really old. I haven't had any of the Cohiba Sublimes or Double Coronas from 2004 2003, which everybody goes nuts over. I have had the Hermosos #1 from Romeo and Julieta. It was absolutely fantastic. I've had the Hoyo Pyramid from 2003. It was absolutely fantastic. You know, the Epicure Special was originally a limited edition. The Magnum 50 was originally an edition. You know, the D5, that was another one. Monty Sublimes that's a fan-freaking-tastic up in the Magnum 48.
I love Monty Sublimes. I love them, but it's, you know, the problem, and this is where it gets is me as a smoker and the sizes and so forth. That as much as I love a Monty Sublimes, and I still have plenty of them, is I'd rather smoke a Petit and Mundo. I hate saying
that's
it,
interesting.
but I'd rather smoke Petit and Mundo. And I know people would be like, "You're freaking crazy for saying that." And you know, I'm like, dude, have you ever had an aged Petit and Mundo? They're freaking phenomenal. It's a great size too.
Well, what'll be interesting is to see the Ramon Alones has one coming out in 2015. So they're finally getting the love that they deserve, I guess, if you will. And it's another Grand Corona size. So let me look it up real quick and see what size it is. 5.3 by 47, so a little bit smaller than the Bolivar.
Yeah.
And it's the Club Alones. So that will be really, really interesting because you know I'm interested to see if they absolutely ruin the Ramon Alones marca by it. You know what I mean?
It's, you know, you asked the question, and you know, you asked that question. have the Boulevard Limitadas killed the Boulevard brand in some way? You look at that 2009 Petit Bellicoso.
Well, see, the 2009 Petit Bellicoso from them was extremely strong. And Bolivar is known as one of the fuller-bodied brands. And that, honestly, is one of the strongest Habanos ever. Like, I remember I smoked one. Somebody sent me one, and I smoked it, and I was just like, wow, I don't like this. Like, this needs a lot more age.
It still needs age. That thing was like friggin' jacked.
And go figure, that's, the one of the few Cuban cigars that Logan loves. Or like,
I don't even think he loves that. I think he even's like, whoa.
Yeah, John loves that thing too. John, Cigar Surgeon, he absolutely loves those.
A Canadian?
I'm just kidding. Which doesn't surprise me because he likes the full-bodied stuff. You know what I mean? But I mean, let me look up all the different limitadas that were out there because let's go through the years and see which ones were hit and miss. So 2000, you had.
Let's work our way backwards because once we get into the lower numbers, we're screwed.
Yeah, this is true. So 2015, there's going to be the Mag 56 and the Club Balones, only two.
Yeah.
2014, Partagas, Cohiba, and Bolivar. I mean, honestly, I think all three of them are really good.
They're stronger. They're stronger and very different, but they're good.
Stronger, but none of them felt like, not like that 07 Regalos that 8 years later is still ridiculously strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not like the Bolivar by any means. The blending on all three of them I thought was very smooth, well balanced, great flavors, different than their brands. So definitely something different. 2013, I've only had one, the Grand Epic here. I haven't had the Oro number 2 or the Deluxe, but I have.
I like the Oro
number 2. The Deluxe.
I like the Oro number 2. Someone gave it to me. The Deluxe, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But I'm not I also, at the time, I'm not the biggest Romeo fan, so I went into it probably a little bit about it.
2012, you had the PC3.
Robustos.
You had the H. Upman Robustos and the Monty 520s. All three of those were bomb.
That was a friggin' incredible year. All three of those
the 520 is expensive. It's kind of like is it worth a $30 stick? But honestly, I'd rather have that than.
That's a good stick, man. That's a good year.
Partagas.
2011, Ionis Texture was a good stick. 1966, it was pretty good.
I didn't like the 66. I've never liked the 66. A lot of people said they had incredible aging potential, and they may, but I've never liked them. And then they did the Hoyo Short Pyramids, which I haven't. I had them when they first came out, and I didn't like them. I haven't had one since. I think that's a love or hate cigar from what most people seem to think. So really, that year was kind of a hit and miss year. The 2010, you had the Granted Mundo, the Dia Special, short Robusto tea from Trinidad. A lot of people love the Trinidad. I don't like Trinidad.
I love that one. I love the Robusto tea. Robusto teas were the bomb. Even the Granted Mundo was really good. I wasn't crazy about the Cedar tea, but
I liked the Granted Mundo. I definitely like it. I mean, at the time, I want to say they were like $16 a stick. I think it's a decent stick. I had one the other night. It was good. It's very one-dimensional. It's definitely something that should be paired with a steak or a peaty scotch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then in 2009, you had the Romeo and Julieta Dukes. That's another dud. You had
that was a pretty.
I didn't like them. I thought they were.
Just throw it away stick. I mean, it's just friggin' awful. I hated it. It was a disgrace.
Then you had the Magnum 48, which is unbelievable.
Yep.
Then you had the Boulevard Petit Bellicosos, which, while I don't think they were very good, I think they really, really, they're so unique. I think it's a great blend for them because it's totally outside of what you would expect. So it's good for modern guys that like Nicaraguan stuff, you know. And in 2008,
I just think it was like, what were you blending?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
which is interesting because if you think about it, the Anahados we had were from 2008. You know, so maybe at that same time they were blending really strong cigars. Like, oh yeah, let's blend some really strong stuff for these Americans and see what happens.
Yeah, let's fuck these guys up.
Who knows? Maybe that's why the Dukes sucked.
Yeah, the Dukes were fucking terrible. John Wayne must be pissed as shit.
Yeah. Then you had the D5, which is fantastic. The Sublimes, fantastic. And then the one I haven't had is the Cuaba Pyramids.
You know, it's funny because I saw Cigar Dojo was smoking this the other night, and I was actually talking with him. I was like, "What do you think of that? What do you think of that guava?" Because I really loved it. And I was like,
the
really?
Pyramids?
Yeah,
the pyramids?
I hated it. I hated it.
Hmm.
It's just no dice. I just hate that friggin' brand as well, though.
Then the next year, 2007, you have the Ingenios from Trinidad, which I've stayed away from.
I didn't smoke it.
The Romeo and Julieta Escudos, which I've been searching for. I've heard they're unbelievable from many people. The Regalos from Hoyo, which is another one of those lost cigars that it's like smoking a medium-bodied San Andreas Maduro. Like, honestly, that's what it's like. That's what it's like smoking. It's like, so I like it now. I didn't think it was that great a few years ago, but I think it's good now. I'm like, God, I'm gonna have to let this sit at like 62 RH for another few years before I just sit down and smoke it and go, oh wow, that's perfect.
Yeah. You got the Cohiba Pyramides. I've never smoked.
Yeah, Pyramides never had. Monte Cristo Robusto never had. PSD3 I've had. That was fantastic.
That was a good thing.
And then from there, we get to the point of haven't had many. I haven't had the 2005 Romeo and Juliet Petit Pyramids. Never had it. Never had the Monte Cristo D.
I heard the Monte Cristo D was no good.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I think they're around still for a reason. It was the size was like let me look it up real quick. I want to say it was kind of like a Dahlia or a Corona. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was a Dahlia. I figure it's one of my favorite fucking sizes. Had to kill it.
Yeah, it's a Dahlia.
Magnum 50, good stick.
Magnum 50, bomb. And then 2004 was, dude, the Hermosos #2, ridiculous. Epicure Special, Sublimes, Cohiba.
You notice that whenever they make these, you can always tell how good. It doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen with regionals. It doesn't happen with limitadas that often. But whenever they make them a regular production offering afterwards, that's when you know that the entire world smoked that limitada and said, "This is it. This is freaking phenomenal." And the H. Upmann Magnum 50 was big. That was a cigar, I think, which turned the H. Upmann brand around.
What's interesting is there's they did a Robusto for Monte Cristo in 2000, and then they did another one again.
Look at the Pyramidas.
And they did another one again in 2006.
Yep.
Same thing. So I would bet now the Partagas pyramids from 2000 are probably freaking unbelievable.
Partagas P #2, man. Partagas P #2 is awesome.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting is when you look at the program when it originally rolled out, you had 2004 releases, 2001 5 releases, 2003 5, 2004 4.
They dropped them down.
They dropped it down to pretty much 3 a year, and then this next year they're only doing 2. So it makes me wonder if they're concentrating more on the regional stuff.
Well, even
or planning for 2016.
Regional program they've cut back to. Regional program they said only one regional per country or whatever it is. They cut that back.
Ridiculous.
For a while there, a couple of countries were just saying 2.
Mm-hmm.
I said no more of that.
Man, this Imperialis is good. It's fantastic. No, I'm amazed you don't like it. But it is super light. It is super light.
I'll tell you one thing. That Seagull 5 I had, which there's some coming your way, was phenomenal.
Was it?
Oh my God, I was in love.
That's interesting because the fours, like I told you recently, I told everybody recently, the fours are unbelievable right now. And I don't know, maybe I just got lucky. Oh, I know. I'm older Cohiba is always better. That's why I'm amazed that this new box was just freaking unbelievable.
It happens. I mean, gosh, remember when June surprised us with that Oya Epic Year #2?
Yeah, exactly.
It was
And we even
fantastic.
thought, and we thought that Hoyle #2
It was the party
was, or it was Hoyle #1. We thought it was the C3. I
Yeah,
remember
we're like, yeah.
thinking like, oh god, this is like a limitada.
Like,
It was so good.
Yeah, this is too good to be true. But June really screwed us on that one. But it was great stick, man. Great year. Good for June on that box.
So let's see here. So
it's very interesting to watch the regional for the limited program. I kind of wish that they did everything in 10-count boxes, even some of these smaller ones. And the reason is because I'm kind of a traditionalist in the fact that I think if you're going to make a limited edition, put it in 10-count boxes.
Yeah. I mean, especially with like the punch, that's probably why I haven't chased the punch, is because it's a box of 25, it's $425 or so, $450, whereas you could score a 10-count box for half that price as something else, and you're willing to pay it just because it's less for the box, even though the per stick price might be less, which is why I think this Bolivar is going to blow up at some time, and people will collect the hell out of them. And then, like, 5 years later, they'll be worth a ton of money because everybody will want them.
Which is interesting, and that's why it's always like whenever you come across a regional that's a 10-count box, I'm always intrigued by the regionals that are 10-count boxes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, those Ramones I sent you that you'll be getting, those Netherlands Ramones, that's the one cigar out of all that crap I sent. Well, actually, all those goodies I sent you. That's the one stick where I'm really interested in, because that's just a great price regional, and it's a fantastic amount.
Let's see what size it is, because the other one, the España, is probably looked like it's about the same size.
A little bit bigger, yeah, a little bit longer, but it's good. It's just so good.
So to sum up our, I guess our whatever the hell this is, limited edition show. I'm down with the Bolivar. You're down with the Partagas. We both think the Cohiba is amazing, but of course it's a Cohiba, so it's extremely overpriced. The Edition Limitada program in general is, I'll put it to you this way. I think if you're willing to put in the time to age any of these Edition Limitada cigars, the really good ones, the really good releases, turn into amazing cigars over time. And all three of these, in my opinion, I think have that potential.
They'll hold it really well.
I think the Partagas will probably, those floral notes that I got that you said were herbal and sea salty, I think over time those will become real delicate. Like, to me, it reminded me of a vintage Partagas at times, in that regard. Almost perfumey, in a way.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. That's a good way of doing it.
The Bolivar was really a non-like anything Bolivar. To me, it honestly, it reminded me of the Robusto Supremo from Cohiba, as far as it had the chocolate taste, the smooth, kind of cocoa creamy type flavors that I think over time, as they balance out, it'll get a little bit more depth, and the finish will get a little bit longer. And the Robusto Supremo, I think, will just take time to really shine. But all three of these, I was surprised at how good they were fresh. All three of them were. I mean, I remember smoking the Bolivar, and I'm like, oh wow, this is really good. And then I was sitting there smoking the Partagas, and I'm like, oh wow, this is fantastic. And the night I was smoking the Cohiba Robusto, I was messaging you like, dude, this is freaking insane.
it's really phenomenal, and I'm really interested. The problem with the Cohiba is I love to see how it aged. I just don't want to put the money into a box of that nature just to age them for that long. I just don't have the interest in doing that.
Yeah.
Where I could do it in a lot of other areas.
Yeah, you got to have the capital. So the guys out there, if you're listening and you have the capital, by all means,
Yeah, the capital. Knock them all out.
Buy multiples of all of them and let them sit, because I guarantee you they will all be fantastic.
And that's why I'm with you. Kind of, I would probably split a box of Bolivars, and then just do a whole box of Partagas and watch them go, watch them do their thing.
Yeah, I didn't. None of them. I didn't absolutely like fall in love with any of them and go, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Like the Monte Cristo Grande Mundo, I fell in love with it, and
you did. You love that.
Since I fell in love with it, I think it has kind of changed a little bit, and I think it needs more time to balance out. It's going through a bad phase, or a downhill phase, if you will. It's still really good. I just think it's not as now. It needs to go through. It's gotten over its good freshness, and now it needs to develop the delicate aged flavors like the Sublimes have. So another couple of years. But overall, I mean, I haven't been this impressed with all three Limitadas in a long time. In all honesty, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Limitadas, because of the price. I thought all three of them were absolutely fantastic. So I could see why anybody would fall in love with them. And like I said, my favorite out of all three was the Bolivar, in terms of just sitting down and smoking and going, wow, this is really good.
The
ATF is coming. You hear them?
Yep, I hear them.
Yeah, they're coming after me again.
The one thing I'll say about the Cohiba is, that's a 58 ringgit. But I'll tell you one thing. For a 58 ringgit, it smokes wonderfully.
Yeah.
Habanos, say what you want about it, they do know how to make a big ring gauge cigar smoke really well.
Well,
and it's funny because they don't do it a lot.
No, and I see the construction debate come up all the time, and anytime anybody has an issue with the Cuban, it's immediately Cuban QC sucks. Saturday was my exam day, and I had 6 cigars that day. And 4 of them were Cuban, 2 of them were not. And one of the ones that was non-Cuban, I posted a picture of it. I mean, it like seriously just split from the foot. It just blew up all the way to the band. And I put my finger over the band because it's a non-Cuban company, and I really like their stuff. So I wasn't trying to bash the company. I was like, look, people, the construction doesn't know a country. There's not certain countries that have construction issues and certain that don't. All of them do. Period. I don't care what you say. Now, does it seem like a more common problem with the Cubans is draw when there's a real tight one? Yeah. But you still have the same issue with non-Cubans, that non-Cubans seem to have the issues of the exact opposite. Like their draw is too loose, they're not packed tight enough, they tunnel, you can't get any smoke out of them, or they just completely like blow up and explode. So
I'd rather have a tighter draw. I'd rather have a little bit more of a snugger draw and then just go from there, because some of these loose draws are just like they just bombard you.
Oh yeah, you can't. They're unsmokable. But a draw tool like this, and this is the draw tool that I tell everybody to get.
Holy crap! What the hell?
Oh yeah, you see it? It's got a naked chick on it, dude. Boobs. See those boobies?
Your little roach clip.
Exactly. It's called a Havana saver, and if you look at the shaft, if you will, the shaft is twisted, right? So as you're poking the cigar, you twist it. You twist the poker through it, right? And for some reason, I just think that it opens up the cigar better. And I've had less issues with. I've been able to save, mini cigars. I mean, I had a non-Cuban cigar the other night that was from Fuente, and the draw was terrible on it, and I had to poke the crap out of this thing to get anything out of it. And it didn't get much out of it in the end, but I got enough that I could enjoy it if I enjoyed it. But I didn't enjoy the cigar, so I threw it out. You know. And the other bonus.
You gotta be careful when you twist though, because that's how you get chicks pregnant.
And the other bonus is it's a roach clip. So you can poke it in like this guy, and then you can hold it, which is dope. So especially for like the little teeny tiny cigars, oh my god, you can get an hour out of a freaking small club Corona or a Party is Short easy.
You know, it's even I used it on a Bahique 54 the other night. Last night I used it on a Bahique 54 because I was smoking that baby down to nothing because it was fantastic. And that's the way Daddy Dita does it. Our friggin' local Boston boy. What's up? Oh,
What year was it?
It's recent production, but it was good. It was really good. It was strong.
That's my favorite part about them.
Oh man,
I love the strength of those things, man. That is my favorite thing.
Man, you smoke that Bahique and you're like, God, this is good. This is just legit.
Absolutely. All right, well, I think that pretty much wraps up our episode for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. So we appreciate you tuning in, even though we were pissed off and kind of out of it and not prepared because of Google again, unfortunately screwing us.
We will come back and we will be talking about añados because Catfish only needs to smoke the Monty.
Yeah.
And then we'll hit up the LCDHs.
Yeah, we have LCDHs, we have Anahados, and then we're going to do Ramon versus Ramon. We're going to do the Netherlands versus Spain. That should be awesome. We may even do the Spain Grandes versus the Gigantes as well if we have enough time. We could just do a big Ramon versus Ramon show. It'd be dope.
Ramon versus Ramon, man. We got to do a Bolivar too.
Yeah, because we may try and bring the Ruskies into this. Oh, well, definitely we could bring the Italians in.
We'll bring the Italians in.
We could bring the Italians in for the Ramon War because the Italians have Ramones.
We gotta find some. I'm trying to get some punches from Spain, so maybe we'll get a punch war going on too.
Absolutely. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. We're going a little over, and make sure and check out the website at habanoscritic.com if you're any of our international readers, listeners, viewers. If you go on habanoscritic.com and you click in the top left corner, you will see ihabanos.com. They're our international sponsor. They ship worldwide for all of our listeners. If you're interested, check them out. Shoot Brian an email and let him know that Habanos Critic recommended him.
Let him know we sent you his way.
Mm-hmm.
Good guy. Very good guy.
He will take care of you. So with that, I believe we are done with our limited edition show.
That's episode 24.
Ole.
Good night. Ole.